seminar on vigilance, commemorating 50 years since the formation of the Vigilance Unit in the Reserve Bank. I request Executive Director Neeraj Nigam sir to kindly welcome our chief guest, Shri Suresh Patel, with a bouquet of flowers, please. Officer Srimati Sara ma'am to please present a bouquet of flowers to guest speaker Shri Himanshu Vishnoy. Please. Next, I request General Manager Central Vigilance Cell Srimati Jayaprada Naik ma'am to please present a bouquet of flowers to guest speaker Shri P.K. Bhandari, please. Thank you, sir. To begin the day on an auspicious note, may I invite our chief guest, Shri Suresh Patel sir, Deputy Governor Shri Swaminathan sir, Executive Director Neeraj Nigam sir, and Chief Vigilance Officer Sara ma'am to kindly come to the dais for lighting the ceremonial lamp, please.
दीपज्योतिः परं ज्योतिः दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपो हरतु मे पापं दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते शुभं करोति कल्याणम् आरोग्यं सुखसम्पदः द्वेषबुद्धिर्विनाशाय आत्मज्योतिः नमोऽस्तु ते आत्मज्योतिः प्रदीप्ताय ब्रह्मज्योतिः नमोऽस्तु ते ब्रह्मज्योतिः प्रदीप्ताय गुरुज्योतिः नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योतिः परं ज्योतिः दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपो हरतु मे पापं दीपज्योतिः.
Thank you, sirs and ma'am. With the lamp of knowledge lit, we are ready to commence our event for the day with a welcome address by our Chief Vigilance Officer, Srimati Sara Rajendra Kumar. Ma'am, I request you to please come to the dais and deliver the welcome address, please. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. On the Golden Jubilee occasion of the Vigilance Unit in RBI, greetings to one and all. It is my honor and privilege to extend a special warm welcome to our chief guest, Honorable Shri Suresh N. Patel, sir, former Chief Central Vigilance Commissioner, who has, despite his hectic schedule, graciously accepted our invitation to address us. So thank you. Your esteemed presence here adds immense significance to this important occasion in RBI, and we are eagerly waiting to hear from you. I also welcome the guest speakers, Shri Himanshu Vishnoy, corporate coach, and Shri Pramod Kumar Bhandari ji, former technical examiner CVC, who will be sharing their knowledge and insights with us on organizational ethics and vigilance guidelines on procurements. My special welcome to respected Shri Swaminathan sir, our Deputy Governor and keynote speaker. I welcome you, sir, and specifically thank you for encouraging us to hold this vigilance seminar and addressing us in person in spite of your extremely busy schedule with your own departments. Similarly, I also welcome and thank ED Shri Neeraj Nigam, sir, for his support and guidance to CVCL. I welcome all the executive directors, regional directors, principals of staff colleges, chief general managers, in charges, and my other colleagues present here and who have joined through us through WebEx. As we all know, CBC, government departments, public sector undertakings, and various other organizations celebrate Vigilance Awareness Week every year to coincide with the birthday of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. This year, we would be celebrating Vigilance Awareness Week from 27th October to 2nd November 2025 with the theme Vigilance, Our Shared Responsibility. Even so, the 3-month campaign period on preventive vigilance has already commenced from August 18th and will go on till November 17, 2025, with 5 focus areas, one of them being capacity building programs. While it is a happy coincidence to hold this vigilance seminar during this campaign period, I would like to share with you that the idea to host this kind of a seminar on vigilance occurred close to 1 year ago, realizing the need that such a seminar is required for our employees, and also keeping in mind the popular demand from some of the officials present here requesting to demystify vigilance. I'm happy to share that towards this objective, we have thoroughly revamped the internal compendium of instructions on vigilance, issued a few clarificatory circulars, and also strengthened surveillance. And as a maiden attempt, prepared a handbook of vigilance FAQs, which are going to be released today. Here, I must make a special mention of the painstaking efforts put in by Sri Mahesh Giri, AGM CV Cell, in preparing the booklet, and our CV Cell team for proofreading and bringing it in a good shape. After release of the handbook today, we will be hosting it on EKP for all of everyone's benefit. You are welcome to provide your feedback and suggestions for bringing out further improvements in this endeavor. CVCell has also been able to bring about efficiency and objectivity in its functioning through self-imposed timelines and objectives. We have reduced the time taken for granting approvals and clearances to 1 to 2 days, have initiated the process of digitization of annual property statements, have made ourselves approachable to employees and departments for clarifications on reporting and statements, have been hearing out issues faced and providing advice on policy changes towards preventive vigilance measures, etc. All while reaffirming our commitment to the values of integrity, transparency, and accountability, and strengthening the culture of vigilance in RBI. For the benefit of the distinguished speakers here, I would like to provide a brief outline of vigilance structure in RBI. Firstly, unlike the industry practice, where CVOs are appointed from other organizations on full-time basis, CVO in RBI is an internal chief general manager appointed by CVC as a part-time CVO. This is due to a very low volume of vigilance cases, probably. Secondly, considering that RBI has regional offices across the country, the regional directors are designated as branch vigilance officers who support the CVO in discharging vigilance functions. Lastly, as in other organizations, RBI CVO reports directly to the governor on vigilance matters. We would like to assure all of you that vigilance unit is in place to strengthen the systems and procedures in the bank as preventive and proactive measures. It provides a safety zone to all of us within which we can operate. So the guidelines provide us some leeway to work within the guidelines. So I am confident that a special address by the chief guest and the keynote address by the deputy governor will provide us the vision and direction and the insights, and the discussions that will follow not only will deepen our understanding but also inspire us to strengthen our systems and core values. At the end, I would like to urge all of you to share the responsibility of vigilance, so that the journey towards integrity, trust, and finally upholding RBI's reputation remains a collective and collaborative one. With that thought, I once again extend a very warm welcome to all of you. I hope this seminar provides us a platform to reflect and reimagine ways of nurturing the culture of vigilance in our institution and make this a memorable occasion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Let me now invite our respected Deputy Governor, Sri Swaminathan sir, to kindly deliver the keynote address for the event. Sir, please.
Good morning, everyone. Former CVC Sri Suresh Patel, esteemed guest speakers, Sriman Pramod Bandari, the executive directors, all my senior colleagues, the Chief Vigilance Officer, Madam Sara, and all the invitees today. It's really a privilege for me to be speaking on this occasion where we are celebrating not just the vigilance campaign period, but also the golden jubilee of the vigilance unit in Reserve Bank. This milestone marks a gradual and incremental process of fine-tuning and setting desirable standards befitting the stature of a central bank. The purpose of any vigilance unit, as of course CVO mentioned about its functions, is simple, yet it's very profound. It strives to develop the integrity of an institution as an aggregation of the integrity of its people and processes. Vigilance unit, as you all would be aware, complements the independent disciplinary function that institutions like us have. The nature of this process will always be dynamic, demanding synchronization with the new contours of business priorities, but at the same time, retaining its foundational values. Vigilance in that respect is not just a process of detecting irregularities or anomalies or finding faults. It has acquired a forward-looking outlook, a forward-looking approach of being preventive rather than being reactive or punitive. Any public sector undertaking, as you all know, rests on the implied trust that it is functioning in an equitable and just manner for greater good. That is the underlying theme of any public sector entity like ours. More so when the institution happens to be the central bank, this foundation is buttressed by the added expectation of being guided by a greater responsibility and an enhanced accountability, as the implications of our actions are wider and long lasting. So in this respect, the onus has been made greater when we find that RBI ranks a close third after the defense forces and the prime minister of the country in the annual survey on most trusted institutions conducted by Ipsos. I think we all deserve a round of applause. We are next only to the defense forces, armed forces always, of course, on top of our mind, and then the prime minister's office, and then next only is a bank. So that's a credential that we have achieved, but also such metrics makes us happy, but also it casts a greater responsibility on all of us to carry it forward and to nurture it, to sustain these accreditations through our thoughts and actions, not just action, including thoughts. I just would like to underline that through our thoughts and actions, we have to uphold these achievements, both at an individual level and at an organizational level. Every decision we make, every process we follow, and every interaction we have carries a certain expectation on each of us. Vigilance ensures that risks emanating from such actions are managed effectively rather than ignored. By ensuring that we have mechanisms to detect and read the warning signs, it enables us to respond timely and effectively to correct the process flaws, if any. Vigilance acts as both a shield and a compass, protecting us from harm while guiding us towards sustainable growth and ethical excellence. The cardinal maxim guiding our actions should therefore be justice must not only be done but also seen to be done. In our functioning, we have adopted three guiding principles: preventive, detective, and punitive. While the preventive element aims at informing and educating the stakeholders of the bank's guidelines and vigilance procedures, the detective element is geared towards identifying instances of misconduct aimed at instituting disciplinary proceedings and suggesting systemic and systemic improvement measures, whereas the punitive element caters to conducting disciplinary proceedings in a just and exemplary fashion. Although all these three elements are significant in their own merit, any effective mechanism always have to start with adopting preventive measures. Turning to procurement process, which typically takes a larger narrative in any organization, I firmly believe that the essence of vigilance can indeed be captured in two simple yet profound questions. Are we doing the right thing, and are we doing it right? The first question compels us to examine the basis of our decisions, whether the need is genuine, whether the process aligns with the public interest, and whether the expenditure reflects ethical propriety. The second question demands that even when the objective is sound, the manner of achieving it must be beyond reproach. Transparent, efficient, and compliant with both the law and the principles of fairness and justice. Together, this should guide every step of our public procurement from conception to completion. But while saying so, I also would like to add this as well. While of course the processes are extremely important, but the outcome is as important as well. While it is very necessary for all of us to follow the guardrails that have been laid down, it is also important not to lose sight of the outcome. Oftentimes, we consider process as a kind of limitation in delivering efficient outcomes. So while when I say in procurement, we should always think, are we doing the right thing? Are we doing in the right manner? We should also be reminding us, are we going towards the right outcome as well, right and timely outcome? While rules, regulations do exist, that we can't become a prisoner of that. While we respect them, that we also ensure that we are being fair and transparent in achieving the intended outcomes. So rules, regulations, and procedures by themselves cannot guarantee integrity unless those who implement them are all well informed and alert. So through regular training, officers and staff not only gain clarity on the evolving guidelines and best practices, but also develop the ability to identify red flags and make decisions that are grounded in transparency and fairness. In this way, training transforms vigilance from being a reactive mechanism into a proactive culture. So in this context, I'm glad that the Central Vigilance Cell has come out with a booklet containing frequently asked questions, which will be released very shortly. I believe that this booklet will serve as a reference document and will bridge a critical gap in understanding the various guidelines and instructions by all concerned. As you may be aware, we are presently in the midst of a 3-month campaign period in the run-up to the Vigilance Awareness Week 2025. So this year's theme for Vigilance Awareness Week is Vigilance, Our Shared Responsibility. And the Commission has identified 5 broad focus areas for undertaking preventive vigilance activities during the campaign period, including capacity building programs. And I'm sure that this will help us carry on our responsibility even more efficiently. So upon closing, I would like to once again congratulate the Central Vigilance Cell on their Golden Jubilee and appreciate their initiative in organizing this seminar. I also thank each one of you for having taken out time to be here today, despite the weather-related delays that all of us are facing. But I'm sure that all of you are comfortable, and thank you for taking out time to be here today. And seminars like this give us an opportunity to do a stock take and reevaluate the effectiveness of systems and processes that we have put in place. I firmly believe that the takeaways from this seminar will serve us well in nurturing and enhancing the culture of vigilance in the bank. So once again, thank you for this opportunity. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. As CVO ma'am mentioned in her welcome address, realizing the pressing need and popular demand for a ready reference document on vigilance-related procedures and instructions, we have compiled a set of frequently asked questions along with their answers and have published it in the form of a booklet. For releasing this booklet, I request our chief guest, Shri Suresh Patel sir, Deputy Governor Swaminathan sir, Executive Director Neeraj Nigam sir, and CVO ma'am to please come to the dais, please.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir and ma'am. Our first session for the day is on the essence of vigilance by Sri Suresh Patel, sir. Before we begin, a brief introduction about Patel, sir. Sri Suresh Patel had served as the Central Vigilance Commissioner of India from 24th June 2021 to 24th December 2022, before which he had served as Vigilance Commissioner in the Central Vigilance Commission from April 2020 to June 2021. He is also a seasoned banking professional and governance expert with over 4 decades of experience in the Indian banking and financial ecosystem, having served as the MD and CEO of the erstwhile Andhra Bank, as well as having been a member of the boards of various banks and other institutions. He had also been a member of RBI's erstwhile board for regulation and supervision of payment and settlement systems, BPSS in short. He has always championed the cause of transparency and ethical governance, and during his tenure as the CVC, the Vigilance Commission instituted stronger preventive vigilance measures, including recommendations for policy reforms, awareness campaigns, and enhancing skills and ethical values among public servants. In recognition of his stellar contributions and renowned expertise in the field, the Commission has recently appointed him as the chairman of the Advisory Board for Banking and Financial Frauds, ABBFF in short. Sir, I request you to kindly address the audience, please. Yes.
At 11:45. Yeah. Good morning to all of you. Namaskar. Respected Chief Swaminathan sir, Executive Directors, my co-speakers for the seminar, CGMs and all senior officials from Reserve Bank of India and all other staff who have joined online. At the outset, it's a great opportunity for me to meet all of you and share some experience. It's an honor to be here today when 50 years of vigilance, golden jubilee year for the vigilance cell. So it adds more value to it. Well, I started my working in 1980. So 45 years of working, mostly in field. So I would be sharing all practical aspects. Otherwise, you all are very learned and you know many all these things. But from the experience, how should we see vigilance? What should be the best practice? What are the objectives? With practical cases, so that you know there is a better understanding and there is always scope for improvement. One should never feel that I know everything, because every day new things are happening, and more so last few years. I would say if somebody who has retired 10, 15 years back if he is brought in the same seat, you function, he will not understand what to do. So much of changes are happening. So we can start with this, that if you want to be away from vigilance, you should be vigilant. Right? What do you mean by to be vigilant? Is it only a particular section? Actually, it is required in our own life. I'll give you a small incident of yesterday. In the flight, before it took off, I had gone to sleep. Then all of us, a lot of noise was there. One husband, wife, they were trying to pursue them to stop the plane and ask, they were requesting to, we want to go down, or ask pilot to contact somebody. Why? They have lost their mobile. They left somewhere in the airport. Now see that one small incident, the whole, you can see the tension happening over there. It's a small incident, but such incidents happen in organizations also. Unknowingly, knowingly, we don't know. Let us see if there is no vigilance department then. Why vigilance is needed? In 1964, this was decided to have a commission, and statutory position was given in 2003 by Act. So basically, one very good understanding has to be there that vigilance is to support the organization. It is not to restrict the organization in growth. And whose responsibility is primarily is the head of the organization. CVO is only, and his team is only supporting the organization to carry out the functions. But primary responsibility is the head of the organization. And when we work in organizations like this, or any other organization, particularly CVC covers only central government organizations, state has got their own vigilance setup. So the whole setup is serving the countrymen. Whatever department it could be, ultimately it's providing services. So vigilance ensures that everybody does the role correctly. And that is how rules and regulations are formed. And RBI is actually the regulator for the financial sector. So RBI gives so many instructions and keep on updating. So every organization is supposed to follow the instructions. Now there are thousands of branches, thousands of lakhs of people working. If there is no vigilance setup, if somebody does something wrong, how will anybody will know? If some customer is suffering, how he can, where he will approach? Who will be responsible if something goes wrong? So a common framework of guidelines have been issued from Central Vigilance Commission, and every organization is supposed to form their own guidelines within that. If we see the cases, number of cases of penalties are very, very less. But fear is very high. Actually, there is no need of fear. If somebody is working honestly with good integrity and no malified intentions, then there should not be any fear. In fact, I would say if there is a branch, because we are dealing with financial sector, and branch manager is very honest, but he is not sanctioning loans, he is not helping people. So it's not a good situation, because he thinks that there can be some case against me, so better is not to take decisions and not to work. This is not the idea of vigilance. The idea is that people should work and people should do the business, and business should grow qualitative. This is the idea of vigilance. And in case if there are few, by percentage even 0.1% or 0.2% people who are doing something wrong, we have to take appropriate action against them. But then the issue comes that if somebody is honest, but he is not updated, he is very careless, he or she doesn't read the circulars, but 100% honest, that also is not acceptable. So what does it mean? We have to enhance the capability of the people. by organizing trainings, workshops, periodical updation of knowledge, reforms in our own guidelines, so that it reaches the people. Sometimes we feel that I have issued this circular, so my job is over. Actually, whether it has reached the right person and whether he knows it, he has understood it. So, as an organization, it's a reputation. Even if one complaint comes, and suppose it lands in social media, any one event, it is a reputation risk today for the organization. Any incident happening, it very easily reaches social media today. And there is a reputation risk arising from that. Of course, memory is short, but still, reputation becomes at stake. At this stage, let me compliment Reserve Bank of India for preventive vigilance or proactive action, systematic improvement, foresight. Because this opportunity doesn't come, but I had once done it earlier during online similar session. But today, again, my heart says I should thank Reserve Bank of India and all of you on behalf of the countrymen for what you did during the COVID times. This NEFT and RTGS was working, so the country survived very nicely. People were able to do the transactions. That was the proactive approach of the people in central bank, that they could organize in such a manner the system didn't stop. And it was recognized worldwide. This is how actually the organization gets built up. And as Sir has said this just now, you rank after defense forces. It means so much of efforts have been put in by all of you. That is how you have reached. And I'm very happy to say that your vigilance setup doesn't require too much of work, because there are not too many cases also. But still, we have to be careful. Why? We don't know. We have trust on everybody, but there cannot be a blind trust. Even one person doing some damage here and there, it gives a lot of risk, particularly reputation risk. One thing in banks, particularly what we see in, while dealing with the cases, is when something goes wrong in the branch, there are 10, 15 people working in the branch. How come they are not raising the issue? It is not possible that they may not be knowing it, but they try to remain silent. So that awareness is also required. If something wrong is going on somewhere, it is their duty to bring to the notice of the management, so that preventive actions can be taken at that stage itself by doing whatever is required and stopping the wrongful transactions at that point of time. If it doesn't happen, then it explodes like anything. We have seen several instances in the industry of this kind, where people around knew it, but they remained silent. Now, as you all know, there are three type of steps what the organization takes. Is one is punitive. That is only when there is a case, and then inquiry proceedings will be there, and maybe some penalties are imposed. But preventive and participative. So today what we are doing is participative. So this Vigilance Awareness Week was celebrated for 1 week since, I think, 2000. But 1 week is too less for some activity. So this is how systematic improvement happens. We made it 3 months campaign on different areas. And one of the area today for this 3 month is digital initiative. And in one of the circular issued by CVC, when this was started in 2021, 3 months campaign, it's continuing now every year. We had said on website maintenance, and we had quoted that, see the website of Reserve Bank of India, how beautifully they updated, maintain it. Most of the organizations, they don't even see themselves that what is there on their website. Somebody retires, still his name will be there, his photo will be there. So here, Reserve Bank is one model on which, if you see the website of Reserve Bank, hats off, how beautifully they maintain. That is why this is one of the initiatives for all other organizations, that you maintain your websites. There are, if we see organization wise, mostly in case of financial sector, the cases in vigilance happens in loans and advances mostly. But non-banking or other organizations, the complaints or the cases mostly are related to procurement. And let me tell you on procurement, because there will be a session, but one thing I would like to uh, highlight here. Procurement is a very, very important aspect. Why? Because if we want to develop infrastructure, which we are intending, and we want to become a developed economy, so infrastructure development will be the topmost priority, and it is currently main focus for the government. There, procurement, whether it's works, service, and goods. So uh, the problem in procurement is, and particularly in our country, 70% of the projects, there is time and cost over. And quality compromise. If it happens wherever it happens, it's a big risk we carry. So any procurement, if it is not done carefully, I fully endorse and agree with sir that outcome is very, very important. If you are in the prison only for process, so you have to balance it. You have to know what is the right thing to do, what you want to achieve. And if procurement happens properly, then that infrastructure will be available for a long time without any problem. If procurement is not good, any place we see a new road constructed, and after a few months, it's not worth going on that. If you take a software but wrongly taken, again glitches will be there. You will be suffering. Anything. You construct a building, it's not good. After 10 years, you find that as if it's a 50-year-old. So on procurement, it's not that very difficult, but mostly there are two aspects. Most of the time people are not aware. So those who are in procurement, they need to be trained. They need to know documentation. They need to know what guidelines are to be followed, because ultimately complaints can be there. And if complaints is there, investigation will be there. And forgetting that aspect for the time being, more important is the organization, what organization wants. So these are the areas outside the banks. Procurement is one area where maximum complaints come. Actually, the main source of for vigilance people is the complaints. Apart from inspection reports, internal inspection reports, audit reports, the main source for you would be the complaints. And actually, here in RBI, you may not have too many complaints, but from complaints, you get to know which are the areas within the organization where complaints are more, and what type of grievances people are having. And once you analyze it, you will come to know what are the systematic improvements are required to address those issues so that it doesn't get repeated. So basically, complaints are to be dealt with, every complaint, but overall the complaint as a whole, it becomes a very good raw material for you to assess that what are the gaps within the organization, which areas are deficient, and where you want to focus for systematic improvements. Today, this book has been released. It's very good. I've not gone through it, but FAQ, it becomes easy because so much of material is there for reading today, and people find it difficult to find out time. But such compiled booklets can be very, very useful if everybody goes through it. So this will be available online, as I understand, and people have access to it. So at least all should go through it, so that by chance also they don't make any uh, mistake. Now, particularly in financial sector, when we talk of vigilance, and we also see the cases in this advisory board. Actually, sometimes we feel that honest people also getting into this by mistake or error. There are instances where people have not been strong enough to say no. So if something is wrong, you should have ability to say no. Because later on, who will help and who will protect? Secondly, if you don't keep yourself updated and you are in business, then either you lose business because you'll not be able to do business, or if you do business, you'll do with some wrong terms, and which may lead to casualties later. Because you are issuing, as a regulator, you are issuing a lot of guidelines. One good thing, what we can see in Reserve Bank of India is you always issue draft guidelines, take the inputs of the people. That is really fantastic. Most of the organizations don't do like this. And then you issue the final guidelines so that, you get full feedback of the people who are concerned, and you reach to a stage where, because ultimately it is for whom? For you, the bank are your customers in a way, and in turn, general public is their customer. So transparency is there. And when we talk of vigilance, transparency, communication, attitude, all these things make a lot of weight. It carries a lot of weight. Few cases are such where we had referred to RBI from commission, I remember, from the cases only. That gold loan, when the person has deposited the gold for taking a loan, officer was not present. Only appraiser was. Maybe he must have trusted the appraiser, but appraiser in outside entity. His integrity is doubtful. So he had removed some of the gold. But later on, when actually gold loan is repaid and you need to give back, then the problem comes. So there was a mandated guidelines that compulsory, all three have to sign and they have to remain present. One is issuance of guidelines. Second is implementation. The problem is in implementation. Guidelines is not a problem. Very good guidelines are available across the country in every organization. The issue is implementation of the guidelines. Look, making people aware that they follow those guidelines. So implementation of the guidelines is the biggest challenge, because guidelines keep on changing also. So you should have a system of periodical. When I say you, means doesn't mean RBI itself. Every organization should have a system of continuously updating the knowledge of the people. And I understand in RBI you have a very good system. That is how actually your guidelines are considered so good, because you take care of it. And banks or the regulated entities who have to follow, they should also have a system of making everybody aware of those guidelines. If they don't understand the guidelines, then clarity has to be there. And the inspection, that is actually the foundation. I'll tell you few cases that how badly inspection has happened. Not in RBI, I'm talking to banks. That somebody who is given the task of inspection and he gives his report without going through properly, because he knows it's not my accountability, but actually that should become his accountability also if it does something of this kind. Now, when finally the file comes before the commission, after the whole process, the officer concerned who was also involved amongst others, actually he was absent on that when the transaction happened. But he didn't bother to see whether he was present or not. But he was posted in the branch. But the transaction for which the whole thing was there, he was not on that day present in the branch. Just because he was in that branch, in that department, his name was also added casually. Now the trauma which their fellow must have undergone, who will be responsible for it? So vigilance doesn't mean that you, or inspection doesn't mean that you have that powers that whatever you want, you can write. You should be very careful. So when we inspect any office or we do any inquiry, for example, we should be very, very sure that we are doing the job correctly and right kind of people. In fact, one of the systematic improvement which was done was that we should have a panel of inquiry officers and presenting officers who are trained. Without that, don't assign this responsibility until and unless they know how to do this work. So there was a module developed for training for inquiry officer and presenting officer. So what happens? when a person who is doing this job, he knows his job correctly, then the process will be easier. And another aspect added to is the time. Normally, in banking sector, it is much better in comparison to other sectors. We are able to complete our inquiries well in time. Why? An officer's career is at stake. If somebody who is charged sheeted due to whatever circumstances, if decision is not given within a reasonable time, his stress on his mind, there is a hanging sword on his head. He will not be able to perform work correctly. Rather, he may make more mistakes because of the pressure and tension what he is undergoing. And his output will also get adversely affected. So what is the need is that if at all there is a vigilance matter arising, we should ensure that the end result should happen very fast within the prescribed timeline to the extent possible in all cases. But in reality, there were departmental cases pending for more than 20 years, not in banks, of course, as I said. So think of the officer there is waiting for decision to happen. So vigilance doesn't mean that we are not bound by the guidelines. We are also bound by them. So inquiry, that is why one systematic improvement what was made, right? Inquiry officer has to submit a monthly report to DA and to the vigilance cell. What is the stage of inquiry? Every month. So what happens? There is a pressure on him if there is no hearing happening and it is pending without any cogent reason. So timeliness is very, very important in department inquiries. We should be able to complete. See, government is also very much concerned, particularly for the officers working in government, to be fair to them. And that is why, under PCA Act, this prosecution happens through Section 19, where the competent authority will give the sanction, consent to CBI, because they investigate under the PCA Act, whether it's a fit case, and he is the competent authority for prosecution. So in 2018, this amendment has come that even for inquiry, I'm not talking of prosecution, even for inquiry of the case, there is a need of sanction of the competent authority under Section 17. To that extent, government has given comfort to the officials so that they don't face any dilemma position or any difficult position. But then competent authorities or DAs, actually DA role is also very, very important. Any person who is DA, disciplinary authority, he has to understand his role very correctly. First of all, the person who is inspecting the case at the initial stage, he has to do very good work. Thereafter comes the role of inquiry officer, presenting officer, and then the DA. All these channels, until unless they all work very properly, reading all the papers, all the files. Why? It's not that we have to leave anybody who is really guilty. It's not that. We have to be fair and transparent. We have to deliver justice in such a manner that, like in promotions, when it happens in banks, if the list which is out, it meets the expectation or the perception of the field, it means management has done a good job. But sometimes if some people by hook or crook gets their name, the perception of the overall people in the organization that they may not have expected this person. So similarly, if somebody is really honest and he is punished unnecessarily, the perception of the people will be that it is very difficult to work because even if you are honest, the setup is making very harsh actions on it. So we have to ensure that as vigilance function, as a matter of organization, our disciplinary proceedings are very, very accurate and good. Of course, there cannot be any strict definition that what is major vigilance or what is non-vigilance, what is vigilance. It's next to impossible to derive that. It ultimately it happens in courts also. High Court gives one judgment, Honorable Supreme Court one bench says reverse it. Thereafter it goes to three bench judge. That bench also reverse it. So, but still there are broad guidelines of classification in vigilance. What should be vigilance? What should be? But common sense says if you are in that position, what decision you could have taken? What are the circumstances you have to see? What were the circumstances 10 years back in the industry? If it's a 10-year-old case, somebody is handling. What were the circumstances at that point of time? What decision I could have taken at that point of time? And in banks, I'll tell you, in all the cases, because as per the RBI guidelines, every case where there is a fraud, you have to 100% file a criminal complaint, right? Up beyond 6 crores, it goes to CBI, and below 6 crores, it goes to the state police. And in all these cases, I can say 99.9% cases, there is no money trail or there is no exchange of money, or that is not there. But still, some prosecutions happen. Why is it so? That has to be explained to the people that if you do something which is beyond some limit, then it will be very difficult. It is a preponderance of the probability of your involvement. For example, mortgage has to be created, and it is not done. Now, such cases can fall under the category of malafide. Let us say title is wrong, but it is given by an advocate who is on panel. Now, branch manager has taken a title clearance report. He has done his job. That advocate might have given a wrong report. So here the case will be different. But in valuation report or in title clearance report, he has very clearly mentioned this title will be only good only when you obtain these documents. But branch manager doesn't even go through the reports. He only takes a title clearance report received, valuation report received. But what he has written in the report that he doesn't bother to read. Then probably if there are other parameters along with it, many other lapses along with it, so combined it can become a vigilance case. So every case is different. Every file is different. The main thing I'll tell you from CBI angle, if somebody is doing some work which is not delegated within the powers, it's very, very dangerous. One should know what are my discretionary. And if it is not within your discretionary powers, but it is required that this decision has to be taken, do your best to put up the proposal to the competent authority, follow up immensely and get it approved. But if it is not within your powers, then you should not do it. Come what may. It will be difficult to prove your innocence later on because power is delegated to you to a certain extent. There are many cases which are purely administrative. So vigilance should not try to get involved in all those cases. Somebody who is habitual in late coming or things of that sort, too much leave, unauthorized absence. HR department can take action as per the policy. Vigilance should not get into administrative matters. Let me tell you also one thing very important is in central government, if somebody defaults in submitting that annual property return, vigilance clearance straightway gets denied. They deny vigilance clearance if APR is not submitted. It is submitted for December, and I think 31st January is the date. If somebody defaults and his promotion is there, empowerment is there, then vigilance clearance will be immediately denied. Such is the sensitivity. In case of central government, it's only immovable property. But in case of banks, it is both movable and. Why is it so? Reason being is that you have to, and it's not difficult. Immovable properties, same return you have to just copy until unless somebody has purchased new. Now, on complaints, I have to say, because vigilance, main source of raw material for them is complaints. Every organization has to understand one thing. There are many people who are not interested in writing complaints. They would rather prefer to close the account and go. That is a hidden challenge we face. Loss of business. So it doesn't mean that if some organization is receiving X amount of complaint that these are the only grievances they have. No. There are much and many more people who have grievances, but they don't prefer to write a complaint. They don't have time or they don't want to spend their energy. In fact, Su Moto also we will try. One should try to know vigilance units. They also visit various branches, offices, meet people, communicate more with them, talk to the people, get the feedback from them. Vigilance should be friendly with them. They should not scare the people. They have to do the job without compromising. They have to follow their guidelines. Fine. But as far as communication is concerned, as far as discussion is concerned, it should be very open and proof-frequent, so that they can know what is happening. And structure meeting. Why structure meeting concept has come? Because vigilance will provide the management a lot of inputs, based on which systematic improvements will happen. And management can take various decisions. There are many issues within HR on which we need to be addressed. We don't know. A person drawing salary but is not satisfied, his work will be affected, outcome will be less. So we need to bring happiness within the organization. Happiness index has to be very high within the organization. We have to leave, we have to ensure that when people leave after the day's work, they are very happy that they are going back to the family. And when they should be equally happy in the morning when they come to the office for work, that should be the index. We have to be sure on that. When we talk of integrity, actually, every individual is different. Every generation is different. But I personally feel that initial years of the life, that makes us what we are, by and large. Circumstances can be different later on, but by and large, we tend to remain as we have grown up in the initial years. So our school, our teachers, our family, of course, parents, neighborhood, friends, initially how we have, and after joining the organization, how handholding is. Lucky are those who join the organization amongst the people who are very good and they take care of them in mentoring them. If that happens, you will remember them for lifetime. My first manager, Mr. R.C. Tandon of Allahabad Bank, I joined as a clerk. I can never, he's no more now, and I can never forget. We were only 3 people in that bank with 4 lakh deposits, 30,000 advance. 1980. He taught us what is day book, what is. So the new people joining in the bank, we should take care of them. I'll tell you a few cases of I'll not tell the name of the bank, for prosecution. CBI has sought. It came to us because DA denied prosecution. Now, in that case, in that particular file, one or two probationary officers with 6 months of job, they were, because what happened? Very interesting case. One bank has filed a complaint against the party for fraud in advances, right? X bank. But prosecution was sought for Y bank. It's a very strange case because current account was opened at Y bank through which diversion had happened. And while opening current account, some lapses were there in KYC. So that bank has also included this bank as a party. Both are public sector bank. And ultimately, after investigation, they sought the name of these officers who were very, very young, not even trained properly, but they had signed the account. So one has to understand that every work is important. Currency chest, cash, cashier, locker. If it is a jointly operated locker and by mistake somebody comes alone and he is allowed to operate the locker and there is a dispute between the two and there is a complaint to the vigilance cell, the problem starts. How difficult it would be? We cannot expect. There is already what I put up alarm here. 5 minutes more to go. I cannot take their time. This is also important. We didn't give prosecution. I can disclose that because 6 months. That is why we introduced systematic improvement thereafter through IBA, that every officer joining the bank will have compulsory 12 months training, foundation training, and 6 months on the job training. Thereafter only they can be given any work, not before that. Because in some cases, advances filed were handled by chief manager level officers. Along with that, some junior officer, he has asked to recommend and sign. He doesn't know. He has not been undergone any training on that. So when you examine the case, you have to identify. You cannot put everybody who is involved in that. I've seen certain files. They write that 20 people were involved. How 20 people can be involved in a case when you are examining Malafide? So a lot of knowledge is required for examination also. The cases what we normally deal, in majority of the cases we say there is no Malafide on part of the bank. But the fact is also one thing, Malafide may not be there. But there is something missing somewhere. What is that missing is monitoring. Actually, this word is very, very important. And I don't think there would be hardly any circular or guidelines where this monitoring word may not have been monitored. What is monitor? How we monitor our own affairs, by and large, very well. Rarely we miss. I'll give you just two things outside the bank. I was thinking in the morning. How many times we have forgotten to close our house in the night from inside before sleeping? Hardly. I don't think so. I don't remember. Or if you have to travel by your own car to a nearby city, 300 kilometers, how many times you have not checked that sufficient petrol is or diesel is there or not in the car? Or if you are traveling to another city, how many times you have traveled without even a single money in your pocket and you have started your journey? When we are so good at our level, How come we cannot follow the same methodology while working in the institution? It is the attitude. One more thing important is, I wish I could have done something for it. Punish those who are not taking decisions, punish those who keep the things pending, rather than punishing those who make some mistakes here and there. Some system needs to be evolved. If somebody has kept some paper pending, should we not ask him why you have kept him? What is the intention? You may not be having a malefight, but then who has given you that authority to keep the papers pending for 2 months, 3 months at your sweet will? You will do. That doesn't work. In fact, post retirement, when you become a customer, when you don't have any influences, then you realize how difficult it is for the customers. When we are in system, we get our personal things done very easily. Somewhere, something, whether it is a license or it is a passport or whatever it may be. Customer actually need to be, he's a part of us. We are because of customer. Once that feeling comes in, then actually it is great for the organization. And as a team, everybody has to be together. So there are a lot many things, but I mean, I should not stretch beyond what is stipulated. Sir, I thank you for all of you for this opportunity, and I wish this seminar would definitely help in enhancing the overall functioning, which is already at the best level, and to maintain it. And Reserve Bank, as I said earlier, is one of the very prestigious institutions of our country, and you are very lucky to have this opportunity to work in such an organization. And I'm sure that Reserve Bank will has already taken so many steps to save the company from the turmoil which already we are facing. A lot of very good decisions by RBI. 140 crore people are. If you say Singapore, 25 kilometer into 50 kilometer, that is a boundary. And our country with 140 crore people, so many different minds, so many different cultures, still we are doing well. Great contribution of institutions like RBI as far as financial sector is concerned, that always has to be kept in mind. Thank you, sir, for this opportunity. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir, for that enlightening session. We'll have a small question and answer session now. If members of the audience have got any questions for sir, please raise your hand. We'll provide for a mic also. Does anyone have any question? Yes, please.
Morning, sir. Thanks for your insight. I was just thinking, like when you were giving the example of a branch manager permitting a locker to be operated, even if it's a joint one. I would say, from your experience, how is it that, when we do the inquiry, how do we exactly establish in the inquiry whether it was a malified intention or not? Because invariably the ability to implement in vigilance is a lot about the process of inquiry. Like the example you gave would be something like, where there was an oversight of processes. There may not necessarily be a malified. So from your experience, would you like to just share something on that? Thank you.
Actually, what happens, there is something like past track record also. Somebody who's had 25 years of service. So how many past cases are there against the officer? That will also give you some indication. I'll not say that is a benchmark. That will also give you some indication. That is why in our format, we normally have one column of past punishments or whatever. That is one thing. Second thing is, depending on the gravity of the situation. Let us say, what is the quantum of claim against the bank? Of course, that is different. That cannot be the criteria of punishing an officer. Otherwise, advances of 1,000 crores, if there is a fraud, and there is no staff involved. But you cannot say because there is a 1,000 crore fraud, so we should punish the staff. That is not the criteria. So overall, you have to see that, as you say, suppose a huge rush in the branch, and one of the cases happened. But the again, his this officer's integrity, it's very difficult in such cases to say that he was wrong or right. But mistake has happened. So whether it should be considered as a vigilance or it should be considered as a non-vigilance, that decision will be taken by the competent authority. And I'll tell you, there could be several cases not related to this incident, several cases there where same set of things, different DAs are there. One is taking one decision, one is taking. That is also there. So there are certain judgments by Supreme Court also, yeah, on DAs also, that they have to perform their role very, very judiciously after looking to it. So one aspect, as I said, is the past track record, which helps in taking decision whether it should be categorized non-vigilance. You can give him some caution letter, or in fact, if past records are there, then it can become vigilance also, because he has been doing like this continuously. He has been. In fact, ignorance of law is not a matter of convenience. I'll tell you one small example to understand it. One fellow was going to office every day by the same road. One day, all of a sudden, there was a challan that you have come in this way, which is a one way. I said, I come every day. They said, yesterday we have put a board. It's a one way. So he didn't notice it. That yesterday it was declared it's a one way. You cannot go this way. But he was going till day before yesterday every day over there. So it was an ignorance. So one has to understand, board has been put up, he might not have seen it. But suppose after 6 months also somebody goes, then there is it's how you distinguish.
Any more questions? Anyone from the audience? No? Sir, your words have given us much to reflect on and stirred us to reaffirm our commitment to the cause of vigilance. As a token of our gratitude, we wish to present a memento to you, for which I request Deputy Governor Sri Swaminathan sir to please come to the dais and do the honors, please. Thank you, sirs. Before we commence the second session for the day, we'll have a short tea break. I request everyone to kindly reassemble by 12 o'clock if possible.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
For private gains. It can include taking bribes to award large public contracts, giving relatives government jobs, influencing courts to rule in your favor, and even helping a friend skip the line to obtain a public service. Corruption is not only a waste of public resources, but it also has many other dangerous consequences. A bridge built poorly by an unqualified firm that paid a bribe to get the contract can collapse, injuring or even killing people. Inexperienced public officials in charge of important services like a hospital can result in poor health care for vulnerable patients. An unfair court ruling can put an innocent person behind bars. And favoring friends when providing a public service can leave out those in greater need. Fighting corruption requires respect for the rule of law, accountability, and transparency to empower citizens to denounce corruption when they see it.
Clarify a particular point. So, sir, would you please?
Thank you. I'll not take much of the time, but there are certain important issues because we could not address everything in 40 minutes. So on anonymous complaints, that is one area which is very difficult. And as regards staff at the time of promotion, transfer exercise, all these things happen against the staff. Apart from that also, we get a lot of anonymous complaints. TOPT circular is very, very clear. You cannot take any action on anonymous complaints. You have to file it. We have seen many files in the commission where it is put up before the commission, starting that one anonymous complaint was received on so and so date, and thereafter hold the process as that. In spite of everything proved, you have to write no action can be taken because it was anonymous. So how to deal with it? So one practical aspect I am telling you. In fact, whether it's anonymous or any complaint by email also, one should always read the complaint. So do you know the substance, what exactly somebody is wanting? Now on anonymous, since you cannot take any action, but if you find that really something is there, you have all right on your own to investigate suo moto without quoting anything on that, without referring to it. If at all it is so. So some officer can go and submit a report based on that, some action. But this is very, very informal, I am telling you. Otherwise, formally, you cannot take any action on anonymous complaint. As regards email, the email also is like, anonymous only. Anybody can create any email ID and send a complaint. So you should standard reply what can be given. You have a complaint portal. So you can send that, we have received your email. You send your complaint on the portal, and or if somebody is not that IT savvy or whatever may be, then you can send by maybe postal way, written way. So two ways this can be done. You don't have to start any action on complaints from email. This is the right way of doing it. So some queries were there, so I think this can address the issues. Because you must be receiving a lot of anonymous complaints against banks or against people in the regulated entities, and then what to do with that. So since it's anonymous, you'll not be able to take it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our second session for the day is on the topic Institutional Ethics by Sri Himanshu Vishnoy. Sri Vishnoy is an acclaimed corporate coach on various domains with special expertise in the area of professional integrity and ethics. An MTech in Materials Science from IIT Kanpur and an International Coaching Federation certified organizational development coach. Sri Vishnoy has handled training and awareness sessions at various institutions, including SEBI, NABARD, Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited, Power Grid, etc. He is also a visiting faculty member at business schools and has a deep passion for the subject. Sir, I request you to kindly address the audience, please. Start.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, congratulations to Team RBI for this Golden Jubilee celebration, and I'm feeling proud to be part of it. And thanks to the Vigilance team for providing me this opportunity to share my learnings on ethics and integrity with you. The way I conduct my sessions, I follow the philosophy which my mentor, which was American MD of my company 30 years before, when he was addressing the first management meeting, he has written that on the board. That is KIS, keep it simple. So that's a philosophy which I am trying to follow so that everybody can understand it at every level. This message should be going. Okay, so starting with the first thing, why? What is the purpose? Why we need the institutional ethics? So as you know, any organization, if they are into business, what is their ultimate goal? Their ultimate goal is to be profitable. Definitely, yeah, because you are into business. But profitable for short term or long term? I think everybody knows the answer, that it's every business organization wants to be successful for long term. That's how sustaining their success. So what's the formula for that? So a lot of universities, a lot of consultants, a lot of independent research units, they wanted to find out what is the formula to be successful for long term. So after a lot of survey, so they studied a lot of successful companies which are able to sustain their success, and they could come up with this formula, which I am going to share with you. The formula is, yeah, you require competency, know about the job, definitely, which is a skill which is needed. And the second skill which is needed is the teamwork. That's very, very important. You need to have the teamwork in your organization. Then only you will be able to sustain the success. But the last thing which was also important in the formula is ethics. And it is a multiplication. In the formula, it's a multiplication. And it is, you have to rate your employee, your organization from a scale 1 to 10. And what is the result? The maximum result which you can get is 1,000. But see, what is the importance of ethics? If ethics is 1, the maximum you can get is 100 only. So that's why. And if it is 0, then everything goes 0. So that's the importance of institutional ethics successful for a long term. So what is ethics? Let me go in a very, very simple way. Ethics is basically knowing your moral principles, your values. If you bring it into action, that is called ethics. Okay, bringing your values into action. Sometimes you might be thinking, what is values? Values are for in our personal life, it is whatever is important for you becomes your value. Say respect is important. That's what, if you want to know your values, what you expect from others. And if you don't get that, you get upset. Then it means it is important for you. So your values, so values are your core beliefs. That is in your mind. That's in your upbringing. Okay, in your personal life. But for the organization, similar thing, copy paste to the organization. The organization values is what is important for the organization. Those will become the values. And if the value is so important that you will not compromise on that value, then the value converts from value to the core value. No compromise on that. So when these core beliefs, your values, they are in your mind. But when you bring it into action, then it converts into ethics. So ethics, values tells you what is important. They guide you what is important. But ethics tells you, by acting on that value, what are going to be the consequences, outcome, as sir also said. What is the outcome? Is outcome going to be positive or negative? So ethics tells you the difference between right and wrong, and also helps you to choose the right way. So the definition of ethics is doing the right thing, knowing the difference between right and wrong, and doing the right thing. So that's how the difference between values and ethics. Sometimes people get confused. So let me give a very small example from our personal life. Say, suppose for me, family relations are very important. That's one of my core values. So next month, if my anniversary is coming, I thought if I give a diamond necklace to my wife, then the relationship definitely is going to be more stronger. So I went to a jeweler shop and I liked one necklace. My values are telling me, because the relationship is important for me, go take that necklace and gift it to my wife. That's what my values are guiding me. But then there are two ways. I can go buy that, pay that thing, and then buy it and gift it to my wife. And there is a second way. If I don't have money, I can steal the necklace and give it to my wife. So the values are telling the necklace is important, but ethics is guiding me. No, the first way is the right way to do it. Second way is not the wrong way to do it. So you follow the right way, go and purchase that necklace and gift it to my wife. So that's how the difference between values and ethics. Yeah, from values can give you, there are good values and there are bad values also. We'll acquire all that, positive values and negative values. So how we should know about whether we are acquiring positive values or negative? On the screen, you must have seen, this is a game, very popular game. Nowadays, it is not popular, snake and ladder. Many people may not know that snake and ladder is basically a game which was invented in India. And it was for entertainment purpose, yeah, definitely. But also, it was invented, it was teaching the importance of values in your life. In a snake and ladder, as you see, there are ladders which will take you up, and there are the snake heads which will bring you down. So each, in the original game, which was invented, each ladder base is represented by a positive value. And each snake head is represented by a negative value. So it teaches the importance when you are playing. It is also entertaining for you, but also teaches the importance of values. That in our life, if we follow the positive values, it will take up. And if we follow negative values, it will bring you down. So that's why the importance of values. So the games also were teaching us. All those games had some purpose. And if you have seen that, played that snake and ladder game, when you are very close to your target, which is 100, and when you are on the top line, basically top row, in the top row, there are 3 snakes. Okay. And once you are very close to, and especially it's a learning for the senior leadership. When you are at a senior leadership or in your life, you are very close to your goal, there are 3 snakes which you have to avoid. Okay. And these 3 snakes, I'm representing it by simple word gel. Gel is greed, ego, and lust. These were the 3 negative values at the top. And most of the fraud cases, if you look at it, one of them or all of them could be the reason for the fraud, why somebody has gone for the fraud. So at the top position, or when we are very close to the goals, we have to be very, very cautious and try to avoid this, because this may take us down. When Lord Rama came after killing Ravana back to Ayodhya, then people asked them, Lord Rama, that Ravan was so strong. He had blessing of Lord Shiva also, and very intelligent person. He had a full army. How you could kill Ravana just by a simple arrow? Then Lord Rama replied, राम को मैंने नहीं मारा, राम को उसके मैंने मारा. Ravan ko, sorry. So Ravan was not killed by that arrow. Ravan was killed because the ego. And if you look at the character of Rama, all the 3 would be Ravana. All the 3 things are present. So values can make you, and values can break you also. So we have to be very cautious what values we are giving to our kids, our next generation. That's very, very important. So let me go to, because I'm running against time, so sometimes, because I have never done a session of 40 minutes ever, because my sessions are normally 3-hour sessions. So no issues, we'll try to finish all the content. So yeah, please read this study, a case study on the screen, and try to provide me the answer. Will this be, you will be doing, is it ethical? So the seller doesn't know the value of painting because he have no knowledge of the painting. But you as a buyer, you are knowledgeable about the painting. So you, by looking at it, you could see that this painting is a very, very old painting, heritage painting, and its cost must be very high. So what should you do? Is it and he's asking you the price of 5,000. So is it ethical to pay the price of 5,000 and take the painting? Answer. I'm expecting some answer because it would be a little interactive session. Anybody would like to say, is it right or wrong? Ethical or unethical? Not right? Though some people are under doubt what to give, because former CVCs are sitting there, CV madam is sitting. So we are trying to, but mostly, what is the problem? Sir, is there any problem legally? Nothing problem. So what's the problem in ethical? Why ethical problem? 5,000 he wanted. I have given him 5,000. So what's the ethical or unethical topic here?
Sir, I would like to ask him whether he knows about the value, the real value of the painting or not, or is he just like giving it? I mean, he wants to get
the
rid
seller
of his
doesn't
things.
know, but the buyer knows. Yeah, roughly not the exact value, but he definitely knows the value of that is much more than 5,000 rupees.
Then I would definitely tell him that this is an expensive painting and you should reconsider selling it.
Okay. In order to save time, let's go. Mostly the answer comes that it is ethical. Okay. Whenever I give this problem present, mostly it's ethical. Nothing wrong. He asked 5,000. That's his problem. He doesn't know the value of it. I know the value of it. So, okay. But then I say, just reverse the case. If somebody tells you, and your knowledge about painting is zero, he comes to you and tries to sell the same painting and tells you, yeah, this painting is very old painting. This has come from Raja's Mahal. And though this is costing 5 lakh rupees, but that I need money, so I'll give you at 50,000. And once you purchase that 50,000 painting and you check with the people, then you find the actual value was 5,000. Now it looks, when it happens to you, now this will look ethical to you. Anybody will say ethical? See the difference. Just I reverse the case, and which was looking ethical earlier became unethical. That's a problem. When you are doing to something, somebody, you feel, yeah, I'm ethical. But if anybody is doing on yourself, then you feel it is. You are changing based on situations, because we see first what is our benefit. And that's a problem area for ethics, where we have to be very, very careful, because ethics is never in black and white. The best thing could be the vigilance department job would be very easy if everything is in black and white only. Black represent wrong things, white represent right things. So very easy to choose. Yeah. But the problem is not, ethics is not always black and white. Ethics, lot of things are in gray area. And that happens in our life also. And there also we try to do intentionally. We try to bring those two circles closer so that we can take advantage of that gray. So if we want to follow the institutional ethics, then we have to ensure that identifying the gray areas are very, very critical. Identify those gray areas, come up with solutions so that there is no gray areas. So proactively, can you identify those situations? Because your code of conduct or code of ethics cannot cover every situation. So ask your people, when this situation, the gray thing comes, while making the decision, your code of conduct is not clear whether it is right or wrong. So review and identify and come up with the solutions. More you make it clear in your code of conduct, right about right and wrong, it will be much easier for you to follow the institutional ethics. More gray, more chances of people converting, taking advantage, personal advantage, and doing the unethical things. Simple thing we can learn from the life, our daily life experience. Everybody must have gone through these road signals. So when the road signal turns from green, the yellow comes in between, and then it turns to red. Now tell me, answer me, what you are supposed to do when the signal is yellow? Slow down or stop? See, that's yellow is here the gray area. Because it is not clear, should I stop? If there is an AI camera capturing your photo, would you be challaned if you are already moving when the signal is yellow? And a lot of people who are saying, no, we can still move when we are yellow. Even people put their accelerator at that time so that they can pass. They try to take advantage of this gray. For self-advantage, we want gray in our life, not black and white. So we have created the confusion. And okay, the people who said, yeah, you should carry on. What about when the signal reverse? When signal is red, should you start moving when yellow is there? Or you should wait? You will start moving only when the signal turns to gray. So what is the best way to avoid this gray area? That the signal should only have green and red. And I live in Thane. I have seen a lot of places now they have removed that yellow. They have put a timer at the top. So timer tells you when it is going to be. So no yellow. I was surprised by that. I said, yeah, this is the thing. This is how you can remove that gray thing from, so the decision would be right or wrong. So a lot of time, simple incidents in your life. So sometimes as we have code of conduct, how people will know in an organization what is right, what is wrong from the code of conduct. But are you making that code of conduct so? I was very happy to see that booklet, though in content I don't know, but the size of that booklet, thickness of that booklet. If you make this booklet, do you think anybody is going to read? If you are going to use too much technical words, are people going to use it? And you expect them to take decision based on that? What is right, what is wrong in the organization? No. Very simple example. I came with this. One of the retired military person has posted the code of conduct for his unit. See, very simply, clear cut defined what are the expectations from the person on the unit, each person on the unit. No complexity. Remove the complexity, remove the gray area, and follow, make it as much as possible black and white. Simple, to keep it simple. That's what my philosophy is. Otherwise, people will not learn. Workplace ethics, again, workplace ethics, same, copy paste what happens in our life. Values, which are core values, which are important for the success of the organization. If you follow that, act on that, then it is ethics. So choosing the difference between right behavior, wrong behavior while at workplace, right decision, wrong decision, that's called workplace ethics. And who will guide you? Your company values, mission, vision statements, and code of conduct or code of ethics will guide you in that. So there are basically three types of ethics. When you have to take decision, three types of ethics. One is personal ethics, which is governed by your personal values. Second is your institutional ethics or your professional ethics when you are working at your workplace. And third is also important because whatever we do, there is impact on society. So that is called societal ethics. So if you have any doubt, what we should do when we are at workplace, which one we have to follow? Institutional ethics, what is right, what is wrong would be told by your code of conduct, your organization value. So there should not be any dilemma in that. Whatever your code, that is right and other is wrong. When you are in your personal life, what is right, what is wrong, how you will decide? By your personal ethics. Okay. And also societal ethics also plays an important role. But please, people, what they do, they try to merge both. Try to put their personal values into office also, which is not right. Okay, so don't mix it. Clear? And when you have a doubt, suppose something is there, some situation come which is not defined in your code of conduct, then what you should do? It is not there in the circle. Then you can decide by your personal ethics and also how the society will take it, whether they will take it positive outcome or negative outcome, if it is not defined. Otherwise, very clear, don't mix the two. So best thing would be to do, which is all the three, overlapping of all the three circles, which is right as per the institutional ethics, which is right as per your personal ethics, and which is right as per the society also. That would be the best option to choose. But life may always, you don't get the best option. Sometimes you have to choose either one or two. But the best option would be all three. So let me go through a small case study. Let's say the season of grape is going on. You visit a mall. Where you visit? Mall. Okay. So you visit a mall, go to the fruit counter, and there grapes are displayed. And you wanted to buy some grapes. But before buying, you go there, pick up a grape piece and taste it. Tell me, is it ethical? We have to be fast in your answer so that, yeah. What do you think? Is it ethical or unethical? So I'll tell you what different answers I get. Let me share with you what different, because time is flagging, so I will not be able to take your answers in it. What type of answer? Yeah, I just take one. One second. What difference it will make to the mall if I just take one piece? See, 10,000 customers will come in the day in the mall. Yeah, one piece everyone, then it will make a difference. Nah? So does the volume decides what is right, what is wrong? Huh? Some people say, no. How I can take the buying decision without अगर खट्टा निकल गया अंगूर तो So I said, yeah, yeah, very good. So must be when you are going to buy the apple which has kept on the side. So apple may be problem, whether it's sweet or not. So do you buy? Do you eat before taking? No. So what about watermelon? They say no. That we cannot do. Because why? So it means the size of the problem decides what is ethical, what is unethical. That's a right and wrong. Some people who are very smart, they tell me, no. The problem is not with me. The problem is with the mall people. Why they have not written an instruction that, yeah, you tasting is not allowed. They should have written. If they have not written, gray area. So I take advantage of that. So I said, okay, yeah, you are absolutely right. Very intelligent person. So you carry your purse in the back pocket now. Huh? So do you write a sticker here that taking out purse is not allowed? Because if you have not written that sticker, if somebody steals your pickpocket your purse, ethical by your definition. See how the definitions are changing. Huh? Definition D, whatever suits us, because it's a gray area. So whatever suits us, we will decide accordingly. Right and wrongs are changing. But my question was not to check what is right, what is wrong. One thing you are missing. Who is going to decide what is right, what is wrong? Yes, absolutely right. Very good to hear that answer. It's the mall will decide whether tasting it is allowed, because if you go to a perfume counter, there you have a tester, which is total ethical to use that bottle. So mall will decide. So what you should do, ask the mall employee, I wanted to purchase, can I taste it before eating? If he allows, ethical, doesn't allow, unethical. But what happens? We forgot about those 3 circles. I was knowing, that's why I have kept this after that circle example, because I know we try to put personal values. We will decide what is right, what is wrong based on our personal values in an institution. When you are going to an institution, right and wrong will be decided by their policy. I came here, I wanted to do it with my laptop, but RBI policy doesn't allow you to connect personal laptops. I have to follow that. I can't say, no, it is wrong. No, that's the right thing to do. So don't mix personal and professional thing. Professional, when you are on duty, please do that. Little bit I'll touch on integrity. So what is integrity? Difference between ethics and integrity. Very simple. Difference is of one word. Know the difference between right and wrong and choose the right option. Just one word is added, always. Always do the right thing. Irrespective of situation, irrespective of someone is watching you, not watching you, always select the right option. Don't change based on situation. Then it is integrity. So person of integrity, word important is always. Will always know the right thing, say the right thing, and also does the right thing. That's integrity. And simple example, if I have to explain, by just one photo, I can explain you. One tea salesperson selling tea in Jammu Kashmir. Do you find some difference there? He is keeping the empty bag on the weight side, paper bag. So somebody asks you, why you are putting an empty bag on the weight side? The answer to him was, he is selling tea leaves, not paper. Will somebody notice it? Is it legally required? Does any law says that you have to keep that thing? No. Does the customer expect it? No. but still he is doing because that's what as per his personal value is the right thing to do. Whether the weight of that is 10 gram, why he should sell that 10 gram 50 rupee kg thing to 500 rupee kg charge? That's the intention of the person. Somebody appreciate it, he's not worried. He is always doing what he feels as per his value, what is the right thing. This is the all integrity. Always doing. Whether somebody notices it, not notices it, doesn't make a difference. So let me have a small mental puzzle for you. Okay. The backside people should look at the left side puzzle in order to save time, and the front people should look at the right side puzzle. Huh? Okay. Yeah. So yes, backside people. What is the error? What are the errors in the left side image? Anybody would like to tell me? June is missing. What else? What else? 8 spelling is wrong. What else? Anything else? December is 11. Okay, very good. Very observant people. Next, yeah. How many holes in the t-shirt? 8, 9. Any other number? Okay. See, when the problem was placed to you, a problem came to you, did you analyze everything? Are all the facts available there? Did you look at all the options? Why you have a perception that this number is sequence of months? Where it is written, month number. Where it is written. So why June should be there? I wanted to just write 11 months, which are important for me. June is not important for me. You assumed it. See how your perception can make you the wrong ethical decisions. Why you are believing on person? How you are deciding? Why you are believing that there is a hole? Because it is the same color in the background. That's why you decided it's a through hole. It's a design. Put it design. If it was a yeah, patchwork. And the people who are so intelligent, they assume that yeah, there is a hole. So why you did not consider, if you are so analytical, investigative, why you didn't consider the buttons, holes in the button? Very good. You reached to the next level. Why didn't, as you know, the fabric is made of thousands of millions of holes. Why you didn't consider those? You can't give the answer unless you have the t-shirt. Then only you might be able to. But what we do, whatever we are in a hurry to give decisions, very fast decision we want, and whatever half cooked items or analysis or investigation material is available on base of that we are giving the decision. Don't take ethical decision based on your perception. It should be based on the facts. So try to gather maximum facts. So here why we ignored it, because the problem is that we are suffering, all of us are suffering from one disease, which is more than a COVID disease, ethical, moral myopia, ethical fading. People generally see what they expect to, what we want to see, that only we see. Selective attention. What is beneficial to us, only that part we will see, other part we will ignore. And that's why I went to that puzzle, because we want to prove our perception is right perception. So don't do that. Don't suffer by that. Second problem which is a hurdle in institutional ethics, biggest problem why people are not able to take the right ethical decision is because ethical dilemma issue. When both the options look, you get confused whether this is ethical or the other option is ethical. So you get into a dilemma. Sometimes two values will get mixed. Then what to do? what is right, what is wrong. So if you are careful during that time, ethical dilemma, most of us will take the right decision and ethical decision. Okay, so let me put to you a case study. When I am putting you case study, whatever I am, how much time is left? 5 minutes. Okay, let me put you a situation. Whatever I am telling is the only option. So don't try to find fourth angle in a triangle. Okay. So you are driving a car and your car brake fails. Now you can't stop car in any way. Don't give me suggestion on that. You can go, options are to either go left or go right. If you decide to go left, some people are standing at the center of the road. Your car is going to hit them and they are going to die at the spot. No option. Huh? Same way, if you decide to go on the right, those persons will be hit, die at the spot. So no options. So you just have to tell me whether you will go left or you go right. Which person you would like to hit and which person you would like to save. Okay. So yeah, first choice. If you decide to go left, one person will be killed. If you decide to go right, 2% will be killed. Yeah, answer. Left, yes. How you have taken that decision? It was a logical decision or not? Logical. Two is better. Saving two lives is better than. Huh? Clear? Stick to your values. Huh? Okay. Yes. Now situation has changed. The younger people will immediately. Huh? Right. Just now you decided that number of lives saved is more important, but now you have just reversed your decision. Did you put logic? Yes, logic. Huh? Age. Huh? They have lived their life. टिकट उनका वेटिंग लिस्ट में था, मैंने कंफर्म करा. I helped them. Huh? हॉस्पिटल भी नहीं जाना पड़ा, सफर नहीं करना पड़ा, डायरेक्ट. So see how we change based on situation. Now we change our thing. No, life is important. Number of lives is important, but age is also. Till now we are following the logic in our ethical dilemma, solving that. Now what happened? Logic goes on a bounce bump. Now what comes? Which emotion will come? How we can think of why you are keeping this option? Huh? How we can tell a small child? Huh? 2 people, 3 people doesn't. Right. See emotion. So logic gone for a toss. Emotion came into the picture. Now, height of emotion. Height of emotion. Pregnant lady. 2 lives. One which has not come to the full of emotion. So no. Why to ask for answer? Huh? You know the answer. Right side. Okay. But see, third, fourth angle in a triangle. Came na? That will come. I don't know why that is there. त्रिकोण का चौथा कोण मत ढूंढिए. Now, जब थोड़ा सा पास गए तो पता चला there is out of the 2 person, one is your close relative, and close relative is your brother-in-law. Younger person again are showing, huh? बोले इससे अच्छा मौका नहीं मिलेगा. You will never get a chance to get rid of. But again, that was for a fun purpose. But again, go seriously. If somebody, your close relative, close friend, don't you think now the decision will again change because now emotion side में आ जाएगा, logic will come. किसको बचाने से I get more beneficial for me in future. Definitely your relative or your friend would be. ये lady तो thank you बोल के चली जाएगी. But your see. So again, from emotion, see how the things are changing. Ethical dilemma, people are changing based on situation. So because of the time, I'll directly go. But that dilemma, when it comes, it will come in your personal life. Official life, there should not be any dilemma. There it is very simple. You should not be in dilemma. Answer will come, what is right, what is wrong, from your code of conduct or code of ethics. So know it, understand it, comply with. KYC तो आप बोलते हैं बहुत important है banks के लिए, but I feel it is very important to know your values. A, Y, V. Know your personal value, know your organization value. So then you know what is the right decision, what is the wrong decision. If you are not sure, ask question, get the fact straight. But if in your personal life that dilemma comes, which example of that I gave, I am giving you some simple tests which you can apply. It will give you answer, solve your dilemma. First test, whatever option you are selecting, is it honest and truthful? If honest and truthful, that is it. Second test, legal. Whatever option you are selecting, does it respect the rule of the law? Perfect. Ethical. What is your conscious? What is your gut feeling tells? Okay. If your gut feeling tells you are doing it is right, then it is ethical. Consequence. If the consequence of what option you are selecting is going to be bad for most of the people, then it is unethical. If it is going to be good for most of the people, then it is the right. And the last option will never fail in your life. Publicity test. If whatever option you have chosen, the consequence of that comes in the next day newspaper or news channel. By reading that or listening to that, if your family feel proud of you, then it is ethical. If they feel shame of you, then it is unethical. So simple test which you can apply. Understand three things we have to do. We are into a business. We have to follow the ethical responsibility. We have to follow the economic responsibility also because we are into business, and also we have to follow the legal responsibility. So the best option to choose would be which is profitable for the organization, decision which is profitable, which is legal, and which is also ethical. That's the best combo, best cocktail which you can make in institutional ethics. And ultimately, how to do it? As the theme for this is, I'll take 2 minutes, I'm finishing. Theme for this is shared responsibility, teamwork. And what best example we get being in Maharashtra, being in Mumbai, the learnings from our very handy game. See the importance. It's here the goal for us, the key for us is making our organization a vigilant organization, ethically vigilant organization. And if we want to achieve that handy, what we have to do, we need support of each member. In that team, every member is important. Every member have to give the best. And another learning, the most important people are people who are at the base, because whole load is on there and we mostly forget about those people. I have done multiple sessions in multiple PSUs, but mostly my audience is either middle management or senior management. Nobody thought about the floor. What about the floor employee? Who are sometimes your first customer touch point. The customer will have a reputation, will decide on reputation of the organization by that person. What about the security person who, when you enter into the bank, reception people? They are very important because those are the first touch point. The customer will find the first perception will go from that. So they are very important. Focus on that. And again, it's a message to all the leaders, senior leaders. The more high you go in the level, your responsibility goes higher because the impact would be higher. The risk is more. Ethical risk, because they take the decision, it will impact everyone. So let's I can have 1 hour lecture on this, but I don't want because time is not there. So everybody is important. Jointly we have to do, and then only we can win it. So that's why we have to follow the formula which I am giving, SEVA, selfless service. Selfless. अपने को बाद में बाजू में रख के, okay? Don't look at your self-interest. Look at organization self-interest. So what we have to follow is stay ethically vigilant. Always word is very important. Not 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Huh? So some people say, I'm honest on Monday and Friday. Tuesday, Thursday, I'm very humble. That is my values. If you are changing values, don't call your person of integrity. If it is there, then all the days you have to follow that thing. So that's my last slide. What is the path forward? What is the outcome we are expecting from this? That it will not help if I am vigilant. It will not help if you are vigilant. The goal we can only achieve if we all are Thank you very much.
For that,
Sorry for going little ahead.
not at all, sir. Not at all, sir. Sir, thank you, sir, for that enlightening and lively session.